is Sean Bemrose from Tony Bemrose Insurance Brokers. Now, Sean, I have a question for you regarding the flood studies. How seriously are insurance companies looking into the results where people may be impacted, and how will this affect the insurance premiums?
I think it's going to be very similar to what they're doing in Brisbane at the moment, where the studies are coming through, not only showing where water has been, but where they're predicting water to be subject to different flood event levels, be it 7 metres, 9 metres, 10 metres. And I think that's impacting now the underwriting decisions going forward. I suspect that if it can be shown that a strong flood mitigation strategy is in place for a certain town, that the community will have an argument with the insurers to reduce the premiums, but I'd also suspect that they're not going to do it in a hurry. I think there's a significant history there of losses previously, and I suspect that they're going to continue to try and recoup some of those losses, or at least get some sort of level of surety as to what will happen if another large rain event occurs. So I think pragmatically, I think some of them may wait to see what occurs after a bigger rain event, say if a DEVI or a levee system is installed, to see how it actually performs.
Now, Sean, we see people lifting their living areas according to the flood studies and the previous year's flood heights. Can any of these precautions help in negotiating with insurance companies any flood insurance?
I think there's an absolute possibility that should happen. I think it would make commercial sense for the insurance companies to have that conversation again. The only fear is basically it's going to take, that 12 months, maybe 18 months cycle to get them to come back to the table, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more insurance capacity coming into the region, where people want to see that a reasonable period of stability and no large weather events. If you see the competition come back in, then you'll see premiums come back. But where we're stuck at the moment with less than a handful of insurers doing regional and North Queensland, then we're getting dictated to by the market. But again, I think, look, as a broker, I advocate using a broker to at least have the conversation with if it's CG or QBE or whoever you're using out there.
What are the chances of the businesses that have been flooded for the past 3 years getting any flood insurance?
Flood insurance is going to be a difficult challenge because, again, and you have to take the view that insurance companies are businesses, right? They're all built on the premises that every underwriter and person in those companies has a responsibility to operate a portfolio business that will ultimately make money. That's the way they operate. If you have underwriters in those companies that take decisions that end up costing the insurance company a large amount of money when those decisions probably shouldn't have been taken, those guys, the reality is they risk their jobs just as much as everyone else does if they're doing the wrong thing. I think as a community, you need to be as active as possible in the fact that a property may flood. You need to do whatever risk management measures you can to put in a policy that if water's going to come and the likelihood that it could occur, that you're well prepared for it. You understand what's going to get damaged and what's not going to get damaged, and you put yourself in a position to put the business back together as soon as you can. And again, I think the only other option there is in that sort of situation is to lobby government to see whether or not, as I said, I'm an advocate. I think in some areas a flood levy I think is absolutely a viable alternative to assist in insurance. We do it with what they call the terrorism levy and have done since 2001, where every commercial insurance policy in the CBDs and metro areas, and I think extending out to regional Queensland, a proportion of your commercial insurance premium is getting paid into what they call a terrorism fund, which is managed by the federal government, and there is an extraordinarily large amount of money sitting in it. I'm not sure where the government goes, but it is a lobby to the government to say that there's no reason that I think such a similar system could run and be linked with insurers and provide sort of the insurers some sort of reinsurance support. So if you buy insurance, maybe you get access to 50 or 100 grand worth of flood cover, enough to keep the business going. But I think that's the only other option that needs to be put, because it becomes a community-wide issue. I think the insurance industry, in some occasions, has done itself no favours in the way that they've priced their products. And I think we've had a period in the early 2000s, even to mid-2000s, where we had maybe significantly price-driven competition going along with the combined higher investment returns for insurers. So you're seeing premiums that charge that might not have generally reflected the risks that they're incurring. And it goes up not just for insurance companies, but through to the reinsurance companies, that effectively insurance companies buy their own insurance. Insurance companies make money two ways. One, they make it out of premiums, and they also make it out of investment markets. So when investment markets are strong, generally you see premiums come down. Investment markets falter, premiums come up. As I understand it, in the last 6 or so years in Australia and in Queensland, we've been hit with some of the, I think 4 of the largest catastrophes are in the Asia Pacific region, that effectively scared away the reinsurance's capacity. And all of that's flowed through to what we're seeing now, which is the difficulty in getting flood for a start, and extreme price variations that in hindsight I think would have been much easier in the times when times are good, profitability was up, not just the rural section but also businesses and the small and medium businesses, which everyone probably could have carried a slightly higher insurance premium. And maybe, as I said, the market doesn't work that way, but if we charge a bit more consistently, we might not have seen the problem we've got now, which is, as I said, a direct result of market competition, but also the fact that Australia as a whole is a very small insurance market. And when we go and buy insurance globally, the global insurers look at us as particularly in Queensland and after the floods and the cyclones, as not a particularly good risk. And they're cutting out whole swathes of area. It's something that I would hope in the next couple of years, maybe we get to a period of stabilisation where we don't face this same issue again. And I think with the combination of sort of flood levies and other risk management issues going on, hopefully we won't face it again. But I think we're in for another year or a couple of years now of difficult times.
Thank you, Sean. For more information, visit emergencyvolunteering.com.au/BRTE. LNSU Volunteering Queensland TV.